Welcome back. We're going to be talking entertainment. As you can see, I have here with me comedian MC Lively. Your government name is Sunny Michael, I hear.
Yes, that's name of my
How did
father.
MC Lively come about?
Well,
Your name.
it was 100 level. I was 100 level, Obafemi University. I was always disturbing. We had this thing in Angola Hall then, where blocks used to trade words with other blocks. So there was this roommate of mine who said I used to disturb everybody all around. I'm too lively. So he gave me the name Lively. That's how the name came around. So when I was in 500 level and I started MCing, I was looking for a nickname, and that just
Okay.
already
Is
had
he
one.
getting royalties now?
Sir?
Is he getting any royalties?
Sir?
The guy.
I don't think there's anything as royalties in Nigeria.
For naming you.
Okay, the guy. Okay, that's what you asked. I'll see that I do that.
You're a lawyer.
Yes, I am.
Wow. How did that happen? I mean, it's supposed to be this profession where you're supposed to be noble and be a gentleman. And we see your skits online. You're very lively. Let's use that politically correct, word for it. How did that come about?
Well, I've always been like that. I've always not been so expressive about it, but deep down, I've always been like that. And I needed time. I needed an avenue to, what's it called now? Express myself more. So I chose law because I wanted to find out more about myself. I wanted to find out more about what I can do, what industry I'll thrive best at. So I just wanted to meet more people. I understand that whatever institution you are, when you study law, you meet a lot of people. You meet a lot of people from different races. And of course, I didn't really come from a rich background, so I wanted to mix with rich people so that I become rich. And that's the reason why I chose law.
So you never planned to practice law? Or did you think you were going to practice at some point before it?
It was my fallback plan.
Okay.
Law was always the plan. If entertainment didn't work out, I was going to choose law. Growing up, I always wanted to be an actor. That's what I always wanted to be. So, but I never saw myself practicing law. I never saw myself putting on the wig and gown.
So why study it?
Practicing law. Like I said, I wanted exposure. I grew up in a very humble village. Sorry, in a very humble city. Not village, not a village. In a very humble city. So I needed to know more people. I needed to know more about...
That's Ife?
Yes, Ife.
Okay.
I needed to know more about the outside world. And I really wasn't going to go to another school apart from Obafemi University. Yeah. So I felt like the best way to mix with people from different cultures and learn a lot more was to study law. So law was just, would I call it IT? It was just a learning process for me. That's why I studied law. But I always wanted to be in entertainment.
So you would never go back to it?
No, I hate books. Don't get me wrong, I was a sensational student. There are some of my friends who still ask me when I'm going to come back to the chambers. But it's not what I see myself doing at 50. It's not what I see myself doing at 60. It doesn't give me as much joy as this other being mad gives me.
So at what point did you decide, okay, maybe this being mad, like you said, at what point was it like, okay, let's see how we can make a career out of this? Did you just keep dabbling, or did you decide, were you deliberate at any point?
I was deliberate. I was very deliberate. It was after law school, my service year. I was serving in Ibadan. I would not mention, this was 2017, early 2017. Okay. I would not mention the law firm. But I realized that all my colleagues, all my mates who were serving at that particular point in time, the person who was earning the highest was 25,000 per month. 25,000 naira per month.
After 6 years of school?
After 6 years. After 6 years of school. So I was thinking, if I'm going to do this, fine. I might eventually become a very good lawyer. And after 2 or 3 years, I'll start making money. I'll get my head in books. I'll further my studies. It just didn't seem like what I wanted to do. And there was this other thing that I didn't do for 6 years. This was making people laugh. I knew deep down I knew how to make people laugh. I knew deep down that if I had untapped talent. So I had to choose between something that I didn't know, I wasn't sure I knew how to do, and something that I knew how to do. And like I said, my argument was, when I'm 60, when I'm 50, what do I want to be doing? Yeah. And it wasn't law. Yeah. That's why I had to make this decision. It was a tough one, but I had to make it.
Did you, at what point did you know you were funny? Or do you even think you're funny?
Yes, I know I'm funny. When I was in law school, that's when I confirmed it. Growing up, I made sure I kept a lot of funny friends. Everybody who was my close friend, who was my close pal, was funnier than me. So apparently, they were rubbing off on me one way or the other. I didn't know. I didn't know that I had it deep down in me. But when I went to law school, the 1-year course in law school, it was then that I really expressed myself. I was the freest. It was then I realized that if I don't make a career out of this, when I die, my tenants will come and haunt me on my deathbed.
Yeah.
That was when I actually realized that this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. So you got into the comedy space, and I know comedy is one of those genres in Nigeria that has been doing well for quite a while.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's also a very tight sort of genre to bust through.
into, yes.
At least before social media. Social media has given people another platform to sort of express themselves.
Yes.
But before that, it was a very sort of closed genre of entertainment.
Yes.
How did you decide what path you were going to toe? And I know you're doing a lot of social media now.
Yes.
Do you think, because there are people who also see social media comedians are not real comedians. Do you believe that?
I think whether it's social media, whether it's movies, whether it's stand-up, comedy has different branches. Many people don't know. I think because we are used to a certain idea of things, it's difficult to change. So I think the most prevalent, the most common type of comedy in Nigeria now is stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
However, even before the existence of stand-up comedy, we had a lot of persons who were comedians. We had the likes of Aki and Popo, we had the likes of Nkemo, and so many people. Now, these persons were not necessarily stand-up comedians, but they are comedians. Do you understand what I'm saying, sir? So I think there are various genres. And what social media did was it gave a platform. What people needed most was a platform to express themselves. Most people who are on social media that I know, most of us are actors who have a little bit of, we have our funny side. So ordinarily, basically, we are actors. Do you understand? We are also comedians. It does not take one from the other. That's the way I understand. That's the way I see it.
Do you think it's a saturated space, the social media comedy? Because we see, it's like every day you wake up, there's a new person doing skits.
Okay.
You know, do you worry that it might be a little too saturated at some point, or it's even getting there?
I don't think any industry is saturated. When I wanted to make the decision to become a comedian, I thought about it that, okay, is it not more safe to be in the legal industry, to be in the legal practice?
Yeah.
Then I thought about it. How many lawyers do we have in Nigeria? We have over 50,000 lawyers.
Probably more.
In my set, probably more. In my set, about 3,000 graduated. If that's not a saturated industry, I don't know what is. Even the educational industry is saturated. So I don't think there's any industry that is saturated. I think no matter how many people do a certain thing, the ones that are the best always stand out. That's
so what are you doing differently?
Now, what I do is I make sure I take out real scenarios, real things that happen to people, and I turn them into content. That's how I get my content. I get my content from things that happen around. When I go outside, I go out, I make sure I go out a lot. I step out, I see things that affect people. When I started out, I used to talk about Nigeria, I used to talk about things that happen in the country, and so on and so forth. But growing up, I realized that I also needed to diversify and talk about other things that matter to people, and so on and so forth. So how I do my own differently is I look at real life situations, I channel them into myself, and my character is one of a guy a barrister who doesn't have a job, who is a ne'er-do-well, always scattering things all around. So that's how I channel my own craft.
Looking at the comedy space, there are people, I mean, like I said, it's existed for quite a bit, especially in Nigeria. There are people who are quote-unquote legends in the industry now.
Yes,
there are some people who are still very active, youngish, and are doing very well. Then, of course, there's the younger crop of people. Are there people who you've looked at and maybe you want to sort of, I don't want to say ape your career after theirs, but people who you say and you admire what they've done with themselves?
Yes, growing up, I used to, Night of 1,000 Laughs was my body. I used to save money then to go and buy Night of 1,000 Laughs CDs. So it would mean that some people's jokes are hedged in my head forever. Likes of Basket Mouth, Bovi, Julius Agu. There are so many people that I watched growing up that I said, if I was ever going to become something, I want to be like these people. Then the one that actually made me decide is like a mentor to me, Frank Donga. I so much loved the way Frank Donga does his stuff. I don't know, I admire that bros. I really admire him because after children, he's still doing like, he has like 3 children, he's still doing like that. So I really admire it. So I think for me, people that I watched a lot, Frank Donga, Bovi, Basket Mouth, and I watch a lot of foreign comedy too. Okay. The likes of Kevin Hart. I'm a huge fan of Trevor Noah and a couple of others. Yeah. So those are people that really helped me shape my career a bit.
Not, you don't need to mention them, but are there comedians you see who you know are not funny in the industry today in Nigeria who are doing well and you wonder
No.
why or how?
Nobody.
I'm not saying you should mention names.
I will not mention him. I will not say him. This kind of.
But there are people who think that.
I don't.
Not everybody
that.
thinks every comedian is funny.
Me, I don't think. I'm not one of those that think that. Hey, you can't want to cover me. Oh. Everybody is funny. Oh, please. Oh. I like cover. He said I should say who is funny. Who is not. Director, I want to see this kind of thing happen. Please. Oh. Nobody. Oh.
Okay, let's move on.
They don't bomb me when to say that funny is. What have I achieved with my life? Where did I start? You said I should say, oh God.
Okay, let's move on from that. You mentioned earlier that you talk a lot about Nigeria,
yes,
and so you tend to do your comedy skits around like very social issues, things that are sort of conscious to people. You've said that was a deliberate thing. Yes. How much more of that are you planning to do, and do you think it actually has an effect on me? Because young people, most times you have a lot of people who don't even watch the news. You know, they get their news from social media, so whatever it is that is there, you know. Do you plan to take it more seriously and do more with that?
Now, I need to understand that it's a career. Now, like I told you, I started just about 2-3 years ago. So it's a process for me. I'm learning on the job. So it means that there are things that I did not know before that I know now. There are things that I know now I did not know before. Now, it has an effect. I believe it has an effect. There are so many people who walk up to me and tell me, oh, they like what I do. The society needs people who need to speak up. So no matter how little the effect it does have an effect because people have more confidence in in asking questions, asking the right people the right questions. So it does have an effect, and I aim to take it more seriously. Yes, I do. I'm looking to go into stage plays now, and of course, try as much as possible get my own sitcom out there. So no matter how funny I look to get, I also look to pass a message, to send a message. It is my core. It is like the most valuable
Do you think every comedian should do that? Because laughter is a very important tool, right?
Yes.
And comedians have been criticized a lot, especially in this part, a couple of times for, you know, making fun of the wrong things. We've had comedians make jokes about rape, for example. Okay. You know, things are along those lines. Do you think people should be more socially conscious, or it doesn't matter?
Because I am socially conscious,
yeah.
I certainly would think people should be more socially conscious. I get really angry when people are lethargic about things that happen. I get really riled up. I don't like it when people keep quiet. I'm not the type to keep quiet. I like to address issues. When something is wrong with our country, when something is wrong, people need to talk about it. So I think people need to be more conscious. However, I don't think everybody is not possible for everybody. Yeah. There are people who they need to just ease off the tension, because there's a lot of tension. We can't keep talking about it. Yeah. I realize that the country is not one where you keep talking about the bad things, because it is not a topic that can be exhausted. Yeah. So despite the fact that there are people who are socially conscious, who are politically conscious, there are also people who do not need to be. That's what I think.
What are your thoughts on like politicians now? I mean, you have a lot of comedians. We see them on social media. There was a lot of banter even during the last elections with comedians, you know, supporting certain candidates or speaking up for or against. You know, what are your thoughts on getting involved with your art and politics?
Well, I'm not looking to dabble into.
Is this something you would do? Because money is good. If the money is right, is this something you would do, regardless of how you feel about the person?
I've not really been one to always do something because of the money. Don't get me wrong. I like money. I like money. Gone. In case maybe you want to give me money when we finish the show, I'll wait. Should I wait for the money? I should not wait. Okay. Well, as I'm saying now, I like money gone, but I don't let it influence my decision too much. So even if I was going to support a candidate or go into politics, it wouldn't be just because of the money. Yeah. It wouldn't be just because of.
Would you go into politics though? I mean, you're a lawyer. You are very conscious about social issues. Is this something that's in the plan? It's
always been in the plan. When I'm much older, to become an honorable, or go to the Senate. That's always been my plan. However, I'm getting discouraged because of the way things are going. Because it seems like you're going to have to join them.
Because you can't beat them.
Exactly. And I'm not the kind of person that likes to join people. I don't like rules. I don't like people telling me, do like this, do like that. So it's looking more
You're giving up before you even start.
I'm not, I'm not giving up. I'm just, like I said, it's a learning process. Life is a learning process. Yeah. I'm learning. There are many dreams that I had as a kid, that I don't anymore. They're not as realistic.
So you keep
anymore.
evolving.
So I keep evolving.
So sitting here now, what is the plan? You know, MC Lively, what is the goal, you know, with your career? Are there certain things you want to achieve? Are there milestones? Do you want to do stand-up at some point? Are you going to be an actor? What's the plan you see sitting here now?
Okay, so my plan is always to be a presenter like you, be a presenter on TV. That's always been one of my major plans. Another plan that grew as I grew, I realized I could act a lot. I realized that stage plays are more of my thing than stand-up. When I was starting out as a comedian, I started with stand-up. It was terrible. It was very, very terrible. And that's most of the things that most people don't know. Not everyone can do stand-up. Or at least, at the moment, not everyone can do. I think stand-up is something that you learn. It takes years and years of experience to learn the craft of stand-up. That's what I think. So even
you think those are the real comedians?
There are
people who can do stand-up.
There are people who are extremely talented. They don't need to have years and years of practice to know how to do it well. And there are other people who maybe they're not as talented. I'm not saying they're not talented at all. Maybe they're not as talented, but after years and years of training themselves, they become way better. I didn't used to be a good storyteller, but I trained myself. I tried to become better. And I'm a better storyteller than I used to be in the past.
Okay.
So it doesn't mean I didn't always have the time. I just needed to be better at it. Yeah. Do you understand, sir? So, I'm sorry, I forgot the question.
What was the grand plan, the great picture?
Yes, so my great picture now is, I've always wanted to be a presenter. That's number one. Number two.
You're repeating this thing to me, and you're wearing the color I'm wearing. Are you trying to take me
to
work already?
I can't be this serious. They won't even employ me. The first show, I'll scatter everything. I'll scatter.
Go on.
I'll scatter everything. So, and also, I feature a lot more in movies.
Okay.
I love featuring in movies. I featured in a couple of movies in the past year, and I loved the experience. I absolutely loved the experience. Even if they can make the set shorter though, because Nigerian movies, they will tell you to come.
The work is plenty.
They tell you to come by 7. They've not started by 12. And of course, I intend to have my own sitcom.
Okay.
That's always been my plan.
So we're looking forward to all of those things.
By the grace of God.
Thank you very much, MC Lively.
Thank you so much.
Looking forward to more of your skits. Please stay socially conscious. We need some of you to be doing that for us. So while we laugh, we'll also be reminded of what we need to be doing. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
We'll take a quick break and be right back. Please don't go.